Today we're with the Team Early Education Program members, and we're actually filming on 30 Elizabeth Street in Derby, where the team offices are, and the new Valley Family Resource Center is located as well. And we're here with several members of team. So we're here with Jamie Rapuano, and Jamie, your role is?
Site Director.
Site Director. And Ayanna Williams, and your role here is?
I'm the Valley Family Resource Center Manager.
Excellent. And Michele Holovach, and you're responsible for what?
Early Head Start.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you, ladies, for joining us today, and thank you for having us here. It's a beautiful new center. Hopefully we get a chance to walk around a little bit and see it. And since we are filming in the Family Resource Center, Ayanna, if we could start with you, maybe just first of all, tell a little bit about yourself. Are you from the Valley originally, how you got involved with TEAM, and then maybe talk about the Resource Center itself.
Well, to answer your first question, no, I'm not originally from the Valley.
Okay.
I'm from New York City, but I am a Derby resident now.
Oh, excellent. How long have you been a Derby resident?
3 years.
Oh, good. That's good. And where in New York are you from?
Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah. Nice, nice. Okay, so how did you get involved with TEAM?
In New York City, I was a public school teacher.
Oh, really?
And so when I heard the position was available to run the Family Resource Center, I thought it would be something nice to get involved in.
Oh, that's good. Good. And what did you teach?
I taught elementary school,
okay.
Grades 3 to 5.
Okay. Are you certified at all in Connecticut? Does it transfer?
Yes.
Oh, good.
I have a K-6 certification in Connecticut.
Oh, excellent, excellent. I'm sure, obviously, it comes in handy here for what
Yes,
you're doing now.
it does.
So what age groups does the Resource Center handle?
Birth through 8.
Oh, really? So right from
birth.
Okay. Do you actually do anything before the child is born with the parent at all? Do you do anything like that?
Well, what's wonderful is we collaborate with another program that we have, a home visiting program, which I'm sure Michele will speak about shortly. And they have home visits with the moms, and they work with prenatal care.
So to kind of prep what's going on.
And we share our families, so
Oh,
we work
wow.
hand in hand.
Oh,
So it's
that's
really
really
nice
good.
to have that collaboration.
Okay. And Michele, maybe you can speak to that. How do the home visits work? I mean, how does that go?
This is a new program that is a 5-year grant. We receive funding from the Department of Public Health.
Okay.
And we use the Early Head Start model.
Right.
And we serve pregnant moms.
Okay.
Or families that have children birth to 3 years old.
Oh, okay.
And they have to specifically reside in either Ansonia or Derby for this grant because they felt the needs in those two communities were more than in other communities in the Valley.
Okay, but as far as the Team Early Education Program, that serves other towns beyond
Yes, it
that,
does.
right?
Yes.
So what towns are served by this program?
The early education program spans 10 towns of TEAM's
really?
catchment area. They do. We currently have 7 locations within Milford, Derby, Shelton, Seymour, Ansonia, Beacon Falls, and did I miss anyone?
No, I think
No.
I think we got everybody.
So that's good.
We're everywhere.
Well, that's good because that means you collaborate. You get outside the Valley. You get a different perspective, I'm sure, from Milford. So that's a really good thing. And I guess going back to the Resource Center, since it is new, what is the Resource Center? What's its purpose? What's the goal? How's it going so far? That kind of thing.
Well, we like to think of the center as really a bridge to connect families to resources in the community. So in terms of schools and other things that can be available for families. Some programs that we've started already is we have a weekly learn and play group. And in that learn and play group, families come in with their children and we do activities together.
Oh, wow. Like, for example, what kind of activities?
For example, there's always some sort of a literacy activity. So it would be like a circle time in a preschool.
Oh, okay.
I model good strategies, good reading strategies. So we'll read a book. There'll be a follow-up or an extension activity that, goes in harmony with the theme of that text. And then the children have the opportunity to go to different centers. We have dramatic play, puzzles.
Oh, wow.
And a craft.
Oh, really?
Every week.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Now, you mentioned the schools that you work with in the Valley. Do you actually actively coordinate with the elementary schools at that age?
One workshop we just completed in Seymour was the Raising Readers, which is a literacy program. It's a 6-week literacy program where families are able to attend. There's childcare provided for their children.
Okay.
The families come each week, and the facilitator provides the materials, which includes the book or the text that they're looking at that week.
Okay.
She also models good reading strategies, and the families get to take home those materials and work with their children on it.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
so
a really
we just
good idea.
successfully completed that program in Seymour.
Oh, okay.
At the Bungay Elementary
Are there
School.
plans to expand that to the other towns?
Yes, right now, and I'm not sure if it'll happen before this airs, but January 30th, we're going to have another program. It's going to be at the Ansonia Public Library.
Oh, really?
And it's open to Ansonia residents.
Oh, that's
in the
great.
future, we'll extend to Shelton and to Derby.
Oh, good. That's really good. So congratulations, too, on getting that
thank
started.
you.
That's really good. Now, Michele, as far as early Head Start, now there's early Head Start, right? And there's Head Start, too, right?
Okay, we start with the babies.
Okay.
Early Head Start, as I said before, serves families that are moms are pregnant,
Okay.
or they have a child birth to 3.
Okay.
And it's a home visiting program, so it is not a center-based program. So we have 3 home visitors that visit the families every week for a 90-minute home visit.
Okay, and those home visitors, what sort of qualifications do they have?
Well, they're wonderfully warm women.
Right, right.
And we have one that is bilingual, so she
Okay.
speaks Spanish.
Oh, wow.
And the qualifications are, some of them have a social work background.
Mm-hmm.
They all have bachelors. They're working toward furthering their degrees. And they work one-on-one with the families. They
Okay.
work with the caregiver and the baby.
Oh, okay.
And they provide materials, books, modeling how parents should be interacting with their child, making sure those connections and relationships are happening.
Oh, good.
And we have to accumulate a lot of information for our data that we
Okay.
need to report
Okay.
to the Department of Public Health.
Oh, okay.
So we ask questions about the smoking in the house and how
Oh, okay.
children are sometimes subjected to secondhand smoke.
Right.
We need to know if there were any referrals to DCF. We're trying.
It's funny. I was just going to ask because there is a lot of overlap from what you're saying to what DCF requires for foster parenting and
Correct.
adoption. So
Correct.
it's really good that you mentioned that.
Yes, and we have connections with, we do ages and stages screening for the children. And
Okay.
if there are some gaps with the child developmentally,
Right.
we are also linked with birth to 3.
Okay.
And so we can therefore have a birth to 3 visitor go on a home visit with our families
okay, that's good.
and help support them in what they are doing with the families.
Okay, good.
We also have a connection with, we have a consultant that is an RN with Naugatuck Valley Health District.
Good.
And she provides our home visitors with information about health and safety. And our home visitors are then another pair of eyes in the
okay.
home
Oh, that's a good
to help
idea.
connect those services. And she can also go on home visits.
And who is
with
that
the parents.
woman?
It is Trish Sullivan.
Yeah, she was actually on the show last
Yes.
fall, so that's great. Okay, so
She's
good.
wonderful.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
I mean, she talked a lot about all the different aspects, from a health district point of view, but now to know that she's involved with you. And it's nice. I think one of the reasons, honestly, for doing this show was to facilitate, sort of encourage the crossover amongst the Valley towns. And now, even with Valley organizations, like you said, so to hear that it's already going on, where, team is working with the health district, and, for example, we know, like, the United Way was involved with a lot of the team things, and as well as the Community Foundation. I mean, that just actually is a reflection of the Valley community itself, which is, work together and that kind of thing. So that's really good to know that it's happening. So now that's early Head Start you were talking
Correct,
about.
and I forgot to mention one
That's
thing.
okay.
Also, twice a month, the families come to the center at 80 Howard Avenue in
Okay.
Ansonia
Right.
and have a group socialization.
Oh.
And it's become so popular that they have asked that we offer it every week.
Oh, wow.
So we offer it every week, and as long as they do 2 a month,
Right.
but they've done much more than
Right,
that. They
right.
found that their children are often isolated at home. If they
Okay.
have older siblings that are off at school,
Right.
the babies are home by
Oh,
themselves.
yeah, that's right.
So having this socialization, the parents are just loving
that's
it,
a
and
great
the
idea.
kids are just loving it.
Yeah. Now, 80 Howard Avenue, that's also where the Boys and Girls Club is located, too. Am I correct? Or right near it?
That's down the street.
Down the street,
Yes.
right? Do you get involved with the Naugatuck Boys and Girls Club at all in Ansonia?
My program hasn't as of
Okay.
yet. They do have a school readiness class.
Oh, okay.
At,
Okay.
at the Boys and Girls Club.
Okay.
That just started up, as we also have one at 80 Howard Avenue.
Okay.
And there are other locations in Ansonia.
Oh, okay.
And other school readiness programs that are with Shelton and Derby, et cetera.
Oh, okay, good. And then as far as just Head Start, is that, Jamie, that's something that you're involved in?
It is something I'm involved in. The early education program is funded through Head Start grants, as well
Okay.
as school readiness grants and
Okay.
state child daycare grants. So we're hosting multiple grants, but we're serving a total of 246 children
Oh, wow.
throughout the 10 towns that we serve. We have full day and part day programs available.
Mm-hmm.
The part day programs have no fee associated with them for any of the families that attend. The full day programs have a fee that's based on a family's income and family size.
Okay.
So it's an income eligibility. Every family's fee is different.
Oh, wow.
It's very
Okay.
affordable for our
Oh, good.
families. Many of
That's
our
good.
families are working
Right.
or in school for the full day slots. but we offer them to anyone.
Okay. Now, you mentioned all those grants. Are
Yes.
those, I mean, it sounds to me like our Head Start programs, are they statewide, nationwide? How do those grants get?
Head Start are nationwide.
Oh,
It's a
really?
federal grant.
Okay.
School readiness dollars come in through the state of Connecticut, as do the
Okay.
child daycare grant funds.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. And what's the governing body that oversees how that grant money is being used? In other words, do you have to report back to somebody to say, this is...
We're doing an awful lot of reporting.
Sure.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
we all are. We can vouch
Exactly.
for that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyone that gives us grant funds at any time is certainly
Right.
looking for the outcomes, where the children are educationally,
Okay.
the activities that we're doing, days
that's
that we're
good.
open and operating.
Okay.
So we're talking back to them multiple times throughout the year.
In recent years, much more of a connection through funding through the William Casper Graustein Memorial
Oh, okay.
Fund.
Okay.
Monies were given to each of the communities to really get preschool teachers talking to kindergarten teachers, and kindergarten teachers coming down and observing what's happening in the preschool.
That's a great
Because
idea.
there was a real disconnect many
Oh, yeah.
years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so very important for the child's development to continue that flow. Because what we're doing with the infants and toddlers
Right.
is we're getting them ready to go into the Head Start program as a preschooler that's 3 to 5 years old. And then we want that same transition into the public schools
Right.
to also be a smooth
Oh, that's
one.
good.
And when that funding came in, we really looked at that smoother transition for the children and for the family.
That's good. That's a good
And we
thing.
do take that data that's collected. We share it with parents 3 times a year. We also share it back to the funders,
Okay.
so they can see if the efficacy is there for the programs that they're funding.
Oh, that's,
so,
that's
yeah.
good. Yeah, exactly.
Head Start
'Cause, I mean,
takes
if
a
you're, I
good
mean,
look.
that's the bottom line is they're giving. They want to know that their money is being well invested. I understand that you two collaborate on some of the programs. So maybe Michele or Ayanna, you could speak to that.
We do collaborate. I know Michele spoke about her home visits previously.
Right.
And what was nice is I was actually able to accompany one of her home visitors on a home visit. And what's really nice about the home visit is that when parents are probably in a bigger group, she spoke about the socializations, and here we have the family learn and play groups.
Right.
Sometimes they may not want to mention something that, may be of concern.
Oh, sure.
And so when you're alone, you have that intimate conversation with them, and
Right.
you're also there with the child. And so it was really nice to accompany one of her home visitors because we
good.
share parents.
And we have the same family in
Yes.
common.
Oh, okay.
And I receive calls many times from residents in other valley communities,
Okay.
such as Shelton, Beacon Falls, Seymour, that would like to be an early Head Start.
Right.
But as I mentioned previously, we can only serve families that are in Ansonia and Derby.
Right.
So what I then do is I refer them to Ayanna and the Family
okay.
Resource Center to the play groups, because they have these little children.
Okay.
And so that's a really nice referral service. And when she gets a family and they don't know about my program,
Yes.
Right.
she calls me and we
Oh,
refer.
that's a
so we
great
refer
idea.
them
So
back
even
and forth.
within the early ed,
Yes.
there's a lot of crossover.
Yes, I've worked in the Valley for 20 some odd, 25
Oh, wow.
years.
Okay.
I'm an elementary teacher. That is what
Okay.
my degree is in.
Okay.
Taught in Orange, then resigned to have my family.
Okay.
And then when I came back to Valley Regional Adult Ed in
Oh,
Shelton.
okay, sure.
And I started out as an ESL teacher, English
Right.
as a second language, for many, many years, and then went into GED, which is high school preparation.
Right.
And then my last year that I was there, after it was about 15, 16 years,
Okay.
we wanted to know what family literacy was all about.
Okay.
So I went off and researched everything that was happening in Connecticut, and
Right.
we wrote an Even Start grant for the Valley.
Okay.
And we got it. It was
Okay.
12 years ago.
Right.
And so for 11 years, I ran the Valley Even Start program out of 80 Howard Avenue.
Oh, wow. Now, what is Even Start? What
Even
is that?
Start was a family program for the children would go to the preschool, the
Okay.
3 to 5 year olds.
Okay.
They would drop their children off, and then they would come down to the gymnasium where we gave them ESL classes and GED classes.
Okay.
So the children got to see their parents also going to school.
Right.
We also provided them with sibling care for their babies, because that was a barrier. We provided transportation through Valley Transit, and so we got them there, we fed them, we gave them books, we did Raising Readers and
Oh, wow.
Family Read with the parents.
Right.
They went up into the classroom and spent time with their children while we had the child care on the
Oh, wow.
premises. So it was really a great program, but their funding kept getting cut and cut and cut, as
okay.
funding often does.
Right, right.
And in 2011, we lost the federal funding for that program.
Okay.
And so there is no longer an Even Start program in the Valley.
So for people who were enrolled in that, was there any sort of transition into another program?
Yes, we transitioned them. We sent them to adult ed
Okay.
to take the classes because adult ed offers day and evening classes.
Oh, okay.
So we tried to fit each person's need with whichever class was available for them.
Okay,
But the ones with the little babies was still hard because it was difficult for them to come to day classes because they had the children.
Oh, okay.
And it was also sometimes difficult for them to come in the evening if there were single parents or no one to watch the child in the evening.
Okay.
So that always becomes, and then transportation is also an issue in the valley in the evening because there's not much available.
Sure. What exactly is school readiness and maybe how it differs from some of the programs we already talked about?
Sure. School readiness falls directly under the early ed piece, which is preschool.
Right.
They are full day, full year programs open to families who may be working or they do not have to work to qualify for those programs. The goal of a school readiness classroom is to ready those children for kindergarten. We like to send them off at 5 years old and have them be ready. So we do hold 5 of them. There are multiple ones within the state of Connecticut, but team does hold 5 of those. Again, Beacon Falls, Seymour, Derby, Shelton,
and Ansonia.
And Ansonia, thank you.
I'm the co-chair of the Ansonia School Readiness Council, so I sit on that School Readiness Council and also Derby's. I was on all 5 of them.
Oh, really?
The requirements are the same. They all follow creative curriculum, as Jamie mentioned before. The eligibility is a little bit different than the Head Start preschool and the daycare because families can make a little bit more in the school readiness classrooms to be eligible for the school readiness.
But I think about one scenario. A parent came in with her daughter and she said to me, I'm really nervous. I'm at home with her all the time. And she's not accustomed to being around other children. And she was nervous and her daughter sat, next to her.
Yeah, sure.
After 20 minutes, she was crying. She didn't want to go home.
Exactly. That's what it is.
So sometimes it's not a number, but you can see the difference in behavior.
Exactly. That's right.
So that's really what we want to do is change behavior. And we've also noticed that we talk about children, but the parents benefit as well. At your socializations as well as mine at the playgroups, the parents, they sit down and they coordinate, and you kind of stand back and you feel like a teacher because now the children are learning without you.
That's great.
So you hear parents saying, well, this is what I fed my child for dinner, and my child doesn't want to eat any vegetables. What should I do?
It's like a support group.
It is
very much like a support group. And they
discuss
with
everything.
each other.
Yes.
That's really good.
They discuss everything from reading to nutrition, exercise.
And potentially you can have some crossover amongst towns if they're doing something that's valley-wide in some of your
Like the Resource Center.
Exactly. So that's good. And I didn't want to leave you out, Jamie, as far as your background or where you're from. And I understand you have a daughter in one of the programs?
I do. I have a 3-year-old. I'm very proud of our program. Was very excited to put her in it when she turned 3.
And what's her name?
Hallie.
Hallie, okay. And how does she like it?
She loves it. It was a rough start. You can ask anyone. She cried for 2 weeks. I cried for 2 weeks.
2 weeks? That's pretty quick, actually, if you think about it.
Yeah.
It was an eternity to change.
I was just going to say,
I told her when she asked me, 2 weeks, I told you. I had the same issue with my daughter when she was younger. I told her, I said 2 weeks, and then Melissa was fine.
Part of my role in working at Team is working with the families to get them enrolled and to ease those fears. I do parent orientation. We do family events and things like that. So it's definitely different being a parent and then being the director talking to the parents. So that was a change. And
then as far as where you're from originally?
I came to the Valley, believe it or not, 10 years ago in college. I started at Team as an intern.
Oh, wow. Where'd you go to school? Sorry.
I went to Southern, SCSU.
Oh, okay, good.
And I got my degree in public health.
Okay.
The early education program has multiple components, one of which is just health and nutrition. So I came in the door doing screenings on the children, vision and hearing, working with the nutrition consultant. We do menus because we offer breakfast, lunch, and snack
actually, that reminds
daily.
me, there's the Vitals program that's going on. I've heard about that, the anti-obesity program with Griffin, the Griffin Research, and I think all of the schools are involved.
They are.
Are you involved in that at all?
It's such a new initiative that we were very excited to notify our families about the event they had recently and try to get them involved in that sense. We also, through our program, have a health service advisory committee, which is a multidisciplinary team of health professionals throughout the community that come together to talk about the health concerns, not only of our enrolled children, but of the community at large. And there was a small presentation done about the Vitals Initiative and the benefits it could have on the children we serve and the families we serve. So it's an excellent initiative. Very excited to see where that goes.
Teachers in the middle of their class will have kids get up, walk around, do a little mini aerobics or whatever, because they found, recess is good and is effective, but it's a one-shot spike in the whole day. And if you do it, throughout the day, it's been shown to be more effective, not just physically, but intellectually, keep their brain active. Now, since we talked about, you mentioned public health, did you ever consider working for the Naugatuck Valley Health District?
I did, of course. Much respect for the health department. But I came into Team doing the vision and hearing screenings for the children, working with a nutritional consultant. didn't think I'd stay long. Was able to get a position just as the health coordinator at the time. So I've been with the team almost 9 years now.
Oh, wow.
Began working very heavily with parents and parent involvement, and I found that I really loved doing that. That's a big component to our program is parent involvement.
Right.
So I slowly but surely took the realm of doing the family involvement piece.
Okay.
I work directly with the family support specialist. Every family that comes to Team Early Ed is assigned a family support specialist who works directly with them and their family, not only on the child that's enrolled, but any other child that's in the family. They work on family partnership goals. They do the enrollment piece. Any crisis issue that comes up, they address. Yes, and every single family gets one. We have 4 wonderful staff that work over at Early Ed. So now I'm doing a little bit of both. A little bit of nutrition, a little bit of parent involvement.
That's good because your background is in one, but then obviously the job requires a little bit.
Recently, all of our staff and myself have gone through a family development credential, which is an excellent program. It was 80 hours. It was an intense portfolio, things like that. But it's basically Human Service 101, and that's what we do, is we deal with families every day, and what comes through the door you can't plan. So
there's things like drama therapy or therapeutic drama, they call it, where have kids role play or act out, and of course when they do that, you start to think, wow, then there's issues maybe that if you just ask them directly, they wouldn't necessarily do it. But if you say, oh, pretend you're at home doing this, suddenly things come out. Have any of you gotten involved in anything that's similar to that or sounds like that?
We have one of the other components, I keep talking about components to our program, is the mental health piece of it.
Right.
So Katie McGinnis, my co-director over at the program, oversees that. We partner with PCRC, the Parent-Child Resource Center. So we do have a contracted mental health consultant. And they come over, they work directly with kids one-on-one or a classroom as a whole to kind of address the needs, because you never know what will come out of a child's mouth or what the need is. So yes, and they also do the PEAT program, Prevention Through Early Intervention program. Is that right? Okay. All these acronyms.
Exactly. No, that's fine.
So we are lucky enough to have them come over multiple times a month, and they choose children that may have a need, and they work directly with them as well. So mental health is always part of the lesson planning, and it's definitely part of the program.
Good. And I understand there's a large piece to the early ed program of parent involvement, if you could speak to that.
There is. Part of the program that I love is that we have an open door policy, so we welcome families to come in, take part in the classroom, eat meals with their children. But we also do regularly scheduled family events. So every month, we're hosting something at the sites, whether it be in Seymour, Milford. We travel around.
Are they held here, too, in the Resource Center and all?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Everything's cross components here.
Good.
So we do family events. We try to tackle stuff like behaviors, nutrition events, things like that. But we also do a fatherhood initiative, which is events just for dads. They're for dads, uncles, grandpas.
Oh wow.
Yeah, brothers.
Oh, that's great.
And this is something that's been coming down the pike from Head Start and the nation at large. They're very excited about fatherhood involvement, as are we. So we had a very small following in the beginning, just a couple of dads that came. But we recently just had an event that we hosted 52 people total between children. It was grandpas, dads, and it was just crafts. They were doing crafts. We served dinner. We've done movie night with dad. We brought in speakers to come in and talk. But the benefits of having a father or a father figure involved in a child's education is they're limitless.
Absolutely.
So to start them now while the children are in preschool hopefully sets a good tone, an example for them to join in when the children go into public school.
Do you also accept men who are not related? In other words,
absolutely, we encourage it. Yeah, so we've had the neighbor next door coming with a child. We've had a non-custodial parent come, things like that. So if they're important in a child's life and they're a male figure, they're certainly welcome.
Excellent. And then go ahead.
Jamie mentioned having that involvement in preschool. We're even starting it with the infants and the toddlers because we have quite a few dads that are coming to the group socializations, and they have kind of been bonding with each other. And
that's good.
I walked in the other day, and there were 5 dads and 2 moms at the playgroup, and it was so great to see the dads playing with the babies and playing with their young toddlers. And so that continues with the Head Start program.
Now, most of these activities, are they done sort of indoors in a room like this or things like that? I guess I'm thinking, are there any activities that are done outside? Do you do any kind of outdoor activities?
We've done outdoor activities, sure. If the weather permits, we like to get them outside because kids need to move. So we've done things for gross motor. We've done a bicycle rodeo where kids can come get fitted for a helmet, learn about exercise and bicycle safety, things like that. We do a very large end of the year event, which Eisenhower Park in Milford hosts for us. So it's outdoor gross motor activity, things like that. So if we can take it outside, we will.
Oh, good.
Most of the events are hosted at 80 Howard Avenue in Ansonia, which is our largest site because we do have use of a gymnasium.
Oh,
so
we're
able to put more people in.
The kind of activity other than it not being outside.
Yeah, and what's nice is that Michelle's families are more than welcome. Ayanna's, of course, too. They can come to our event. So at our recent fatherhood event, we had a dad with his little one. Come and enjoy it just the same. So it's nice. We open to each other.
And also, a lot has been made about the effect of music on child development, things like that. What sort of things do you have? Either, it doesn't have to necessarily be music, art, drama, dance, things like that. Is there any talk or current things that go on that tie in those art things to child development?
They are always part of the lesson plans. When using the creative curriculum, there's all different modules. So every week and every day they're doing something for art, gross motor, music and movement.
That's right, you mentioned the crafts.
The same in the FRC. There's always music on or an activity that, there's a book. So for example, we did The Farmer in the Dell. So as we were reading the book, the song was playing. So they were singing, pointing. We had the characters on sticks going around. Farmer takes his wife, and so they were taking the wife. So we always incorporate music as well.
Who
and there's
picks
always
the
a
music?
craft.
Do the children pick the music or the teachers?
Well, actually, now I have a parent that's in charge.
Oh, okay.
Yes, she attended another play group in the past, and she was happy to hear that there was one in the Valley because she had to travel all the way to Milford. So now she has one in her hometown, and she's excited, and so she really leads that. She speaks with the parents, and she says, "What do you guys want to do for the next month?" And then she compiles
that's a good
some
idea.
activities. So it was really good to get her on board.
Sure, it gets her involved and offloads some of your responsibilities. You can be doing other
and her
things,
daughter attends the play groups.
Oh, that's really good.
So she has ownership.
Yeah,
and I really appreciate that.
But we also bring people in. We do activities for the kids all the time. So we recently just had a visitor come in and do multicultural dance with the kids. So every classroom got a half an hour of individual attention on multicultural dance. And we're always bringing in fun stuff, trying to keep the kids up, moving about, and change up the day.
That's good. And computers. I mean, kids usually are way more savvy than us on computers. Do you get involved? I know in preschool. I mean, maybe it's never too early, but if you can talk about any kind of computer involvement or use that the kids do you guys do that?
Every classroom has a computer, which is on for choice time, so it's 1 to 2 children at a clip going in, and they're able to use the computer. But we also host a Computer Tots program. And forgive me, I don't know who that's funded through. I believe Pitney Bowes. Thank you.
No problem. That's
And so they come in to all of our sites. They pull approximately 3 to 4 children out of the classroom at a time, and they do computer literacy. And they've recently brought in iPads, let the kids fiddle around on an iPad.
That's great.
They learn the use of a mouse and clicking and things like that. So that's also built into our program, and they do that often too.
And you mentioned Pitney Bowes, and they have provided some of the funding for what's going on. And some of the local Valley organizations, I understand, also provided funding.
Valley United Way was definitely a help for the Family Resource Center and the Valley Community Foundation.
Good.
Thanks to them for this wonderful site that we have.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And they've both appeared on the show, which is great. And viewers are definitely familiar with a lot of things they do, either not only from the show, but also from the publicity, the press releases that go out, involvement, the youth leadership programs. We hope to have them on later this year, things like that. And we talked about the school readiness program and reading and things like that. So what comes to mind for me are the libraries in the Valley. Is there any crossover between what the early ed program does with respect to the local libraries?
Well, we work very closely with the local libraries. I mentioned earlier that January 30th, Ansonia Public Library, they'll be hosting the Raising Readers workshop that we are going to be facilitating. And so that's nice. Also, Derby Public Library. We're actually planning a nutrition workshop. We spoke about nutrition and fitness.
Wow.
The name of the program we're going to be hosting is called Move, Laugh, and Learn. So that's going to be taking place in Derby Public Library. The date to be announced.
And that's specifically for kids?
We open it to everyone that lives in Derby.
Oh, good. Okay, good. Well, I appreciate it, ladies. Thank you very much. Now, if people are interested in finding out more information about some of the programs, you have a website, I understand, right? It's the basic team website?
Teaminc.org.
Yes.
I'm sorry, what is it?
It's teaminc.org.
Okay, and phone numbers. If people want to contact either yourselves or just the general team phone number, what would be the number they would call?
If they're interested in either Early Head Start or the Early Education Head Start program, they can call 203-734-8609.
Okay.
Just press 0 for the front desk, and one of the family support staff will make an appointment for you to come in.
Excellent.
Or extension 13 is mine.
Oh, there you go.
So if they're interested in an infant toddler program, or they are pregnant and they are interested in the Early Head Start program, it's that 203-734-8609, extension 13.
Okay, good. And for the Family Resource Center?
Well, that number is different. So it's 203-736-5486. 5420, and my extension is 208.
Excellent. Okay, good. Well, thank you very much, ladies. I really appreciate it. This was great.
Thanks, Marc.
Hopefully we helped a lot of kids and parents in the community. So thank you, and thank you for watching. Feel free to provide feedback, questions, or suggestions to lookingupvalley@gmail.com or check out our Facebook page and dedicated website. Thank you very much.